Most players follow a process as they climb up the football ranks. They go from Pee-wee to middle school to high school, and most aren't good enough to progress any further than that. But Columbia lineman Nick Edenfield has taken an entirely different path, and his football career appears closer to the beginning than the end.
I'm 270, 6'4", bench press 345.
Nick is just a monster.
Nick Edenfield is a lineman at Columbia High School. Assistant coach Lee Moore may prefer to call him a monster, but he responds to other names too.
Ginger, Big Red, Ginger Fireball, Superstar, Hollywood, Primo, Angry Redhead. He takes it pretty lightly. He's pretty good with it.
I love the team sport. I mean, it wouldn't be the same without the guys I'm playing with.
And Nick's fellow Wildcats wouldn't be the same without him. Laughing off nicknames is just one of his strengths. Tossing around a 500-pound tractor tire is another.
The tire, he flipped it every day over the summer. So the tire was his baby.
Always got to do something extra that no one else is doing. We basically just Googled workouts for football players, for linemen. We got the biggest tire we could find and just got a sledgehammer and started working out.
Oh yeah, there's a sledgehammer too.
Go, babe, come on.
When he's not wailing on wheels, Nick plays both offensive and defensive line for Columbia. He rarely misses a down, earning respect from his teammates and attention from Division I schools. Becoming a D1 football player is an uncommon feat, but the way Nick got to that point is rarer still. The Tallahassee, Florida native moved to Idaho 12 years ago. He'd never played a snap of football until he was a freshman, and he was homeschooled until his senior year. The transition to the classroom was fairly easy.
Well, you got to wait for the rest of the class. Homeschooled, you're just by yourself doing what you're doing, getting it done as fast as you can and moving on.
But the transition to the gridiron wasn't as simple. Nick made it to Columbia's varsity team midway through his freshman year. Then in his sophomore season, Edenfield's grandma came all the way from South Carolina just to see him play.
I think it was our third game this season. We benched him, just wasn't having good performance. His grandma showed up, it was a big deal, and he went home and moped, and his grandma said, you know, she's old school, and said, you're gonna mope or you're gonna do something about it?
Definitely not my best moment.
The changing point was then, we played Wood River and wasn't supposed to grab a guy this way, but he grabbed him by the neck and slammed him to the ground, and I'm cheering, just, yes, everyone, you can't do that. And I'm like, well, we've been waiting for this attitude to show up.
Edenfield's newly developed mean streak paid dividends on the field, but his demeanor off the field remained the same.
You couldn't ask for a better kid to coach. Yes, sir, no, sir. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am.
No, sir. Huh? No, sir. That's definitely something I was raised with down south. That's a must, so kind of carried that with me.
Everybody's different, but he's extraordinarily different in a good way. You wouldn't care if he asked to marry your daughter. You'd say yes. Just marry her. I'd say I don't know if I'll ever get another one to be able to coach that way.
That's how we do it in Idaho, baby. Let's go.
Nick is being courted by a variety of Division I football programs, including Air Force, NC State, Arkansas. Even the Ivy Leagues are sending recruitment letters. Edenfield has made a verbal commitment to play at the University of Idaho, but has until February to make a final decision. I asked him if the Vandals' firing of Rob Akey last weekend would influence his choice to play in Moscow, and it hasn't yet.
You know, Paul, wherever he goes, I think the athletic director of that school should send tickets down to South Carolina for every home game and get Grandma.
No doubt.
I think Grandma would be happy to see him play and not sitting on the end of the bench.
Yeah.
Nice story. Nice story. Thanks, Paul.